A Moss Bluff man has been found safe after surviving 2 nights in the woods of Liberty County, Texas. About 60 searchers were looking for the 23-year-old. Authorities say Godet told them he simply got lost.
When I first saw her, she was standing upright. I thought, you know, this is unreal.
It almost looks like a flame, man.
How it flickers?
Yeah, it looks like a flame out there.
Look, it's red on it now.
It's coming real close.
Yeah, you see it? It's going red now.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the forest encounter. Being in the woods at night is never not scary. Even if you're an experienced outdoors person, there is just something unsettling about the secrets the woods like to hold. This video is absolutely no exception to that. This video was taken back in 2006 in the Catalonian forest, where 2 men and their families were on a camping trip. I'm not entirely sure what led up to the men taking this video or why they were walking around the forest at night, but regardless of how they got into this position, what happened next is something I'm sure they will never forget. As they walk deeper into this forest, something catches their attention. They see what looks like a mysterious creature on top of a tree branch. As they see the creature, they obviously stop walking and are filming it, scared for what it might be. The forest is of course full of dangerous animals, so it's always good to proceed with caution, but I'm sure these men had no idea just how scary this creature was about to become. As the light from the recorder shines on the creature and the men try to get a closer look, the creature turns its face to look directly at them. The creature's eyes glow in the light with a human-looking head but an inhuman-feeling aura. The men quickly book it out of there, and I have to say, I would do exactly the same thing. After experiencing something like that, I don't think you could ever catch me in the woods again. In our number 9 spot today, we have the skinwalker in the woods. This creepy video was posted to TikTok by the user Adrian Montenegro02, and it was supposed to be just a casual video showing a camping trip with their family that they were taking near Monterrey in Mexico. It should just be a nice casual fun family trip, right? Wrong. Of course not. This video shows the family all hanging out together with one member being pushed on a swing by a couple other members. This is all fine and well, but it's what's in the background that really has viewers concerned and definitely had the family freaking out when they reviewed the footage. In the back, you see a creepy figure moving around. This figure is pale and human looking, and it just moves around quietly like it's trying not to be seen. Is it hiding from the family? Is it planning something sinister? After posting, many viewers began putting forth their theories. Some believe the figure seen in the back is a skinwalker, while others believe it is someone who lives in the woods waiting for their moment to strike. At the end of the day, whatever this thing is, it is sure unsettling, and all I can ask is, why is it watching this family's vacation? In our number 8 spot today, we have Bigfoot? Would this list truly be complete without the sighting of a supposed Bigfoot? This video comes from 2015 when a man named McCamey reported seeing a strange, unexplainable creature hiding in the woods. McCamey was kayaking in a swamp close to Tampa in Florida when he heard a noise, and then he began to see some strange movement. He started recording what he thought was likely a bear or a similar kind of animal, but as he got closer he realized that something more unusual was going on. The creature began to navigate through the alligator-infested water with ease, and it began using its arms to swing through the branches, which is something that isn't really commonly seen with bears, as far as I know. Some people believe this video is a hoax, while others believe this is full-blown proof that Bigfoot is alive and well and living in Florida. What do you think? In our number 7 spot today, we have a cult meeting. This next video comes from a group of friends who were on a casual hike, enjoying themselves, getting some fresh air and exercise, but little did they know they were about to stumble upon something a lot more sinister than a typical day outdoors. As they are hiking on the trail and up a hill, they look back and see some kind of weird secret cult or secret society type meeting. These people begin walking, dressed in white robes, and while that obviously isn't any kind of a crime, it's bizarre. to say the least. The person who took the video also posted another video of this strange encounter because these people didn't just look creepy, they were also making creepy sounds. I can't tell if the sound is music, singing, chanting, screaming, I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, it was all creepy enough for these guys to stop their hike, record, and post it on the internet for all of us to watch and wonder, what exactly is going on here? In our number 6 spot today, we have the backyard horror. This video starts off with someone recording in their home. We quickly find out that the reason they started recording is because they noticed something strange in their backyard. Never a good way to start off a video. He apparently was hearing weird voices coming from outside of his house, and of course wanted to record as he investigated, and well, good thing he did. He turns the lights off inside so that he could see what was going on outside better, and well, absolute nightmare fuel ensues when he does this. As he turns the camera to the dark backyard, he suddenly sees a human-like creature come darting towards him. The figure appears to have come from a bush in the backyard, and who knows how long it had been there for. What is so creepy to me is that this creature clearly knew he was looking into the yard at this point, so I want to know how long it was there for, watching him through the windows. Also, what the hell is that thing? Let me know. In our number 5 spot today, we have the creepy figure. This video starts off with a group of men riding their motorcycles through the woods, which honestly already sounds challenging enough. The video seems to be progressing as one would expect until things take a turn for the worse. Quickly, the video descends into terror and madness as they realize that something or someone is chasing them. You can hear one of the men yelling and screaming for help as the other men in front of him begin to pull over and try and figure out what is happening. That would be absolutely jarring to be just on a fun day out with your friends when suddenly one of them starts screaming for help. Absolutely terrifying already, but I don't think any of the men were expecting to see what happens next. A creepy human-like creature can be seen chasing the men, and when one of them gets off the bike, it begins coming up to the bike and toward the group. The men are caught between being utterly terrified of this encounter while also trying to protect their bike from damage or being stolen. You can absolutely hear the panic in their voices as they try to figure out what exactly is going on. In our number 4 spot today, we have this weird creature. This video comes from Australia, which is of course the land of creepy creatures, and whatever is caught on this video is certainly no exception. The person who captured the video was driving through a deserted forest at night, which just already feels like you're asking for trouble. As they are driving through this creepy area and recording, something appears in front of the car. This creature, whatever it is, although it doesn't look like any animals that I know of, quickly disappears just as quickly as it did appear, moving in a strange and very fast way. Let's take another look at this thing, but slow down a bit. Honestly, I have no explanation for what this is or what it could be. Some believe it's a skinwalker, others believe it's a demon. Whatever you want to believe, let's just hope you never cross paths with it. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Appalachian Trail footage. This next creepy video comes from someone who was hiking by themselves along the Appalachian Trail. He was resting in his tent, again, all alone, when suddenly he began to hear a terrifying screeching sound. I guess when you're out in the wilderness all alone, you really have no choice but to investigate the creepy sound. Better to know where it's coming from than just wait and see and hope for the best. He gets out of his tent and begins recording the sound as he calls out for any response to what could be making this horrifying sound. You can hear the fear in his voice as he tries to shine his light and see as far as he can in the pitch black wilderness. The noise sounds as though it's getting closer and closer, and you can faintly see shadows moving in between the trees as if something knows he is there and is coming to take a look. At one point, it even looks like you can maybe see the reflection of eyes off in the distance. It isn't quite clear exactly what he encountered that day, but whatever it is, I wouldn't want to meet it face to face. In our number 2 spot today, we have the creepy man. This video was taken in a remote area in Montana, out in what appears to be some kind of forest area. Now, a lot of the videos on today's list feature unknown creatures and creepy looking things, but this video looks like it just captures a man. The man gives off a kind of weird vibe to begin with. I mean, he's just standing alone in the woods, which is kind of weird. But the people recording call out to him to see if he's okay, if he needs any help, just to double check, which, you know, that's very nice of them. Unfortunately, instead of just a regular casual encounter, this man suddenly turns into an absolute nightmare. The man begins to move towards the people recording, but not in a normal human way, in a creepy, crawling way that would make anyone feel absolutely disturbed. Was this just a creepy person trying to freak someone out, or was something a little bit more paranormal at play? And finally, in our number 1 spot today, we have the graveyard ghost. Okay, I'll be honest, this video doesn't take place on a trail or in the woods, but it does take place somewhere equally as creepy, and that is a graveyard. Perhaps one of the creepiest places on Earth. It isn't quite clear exactly where this graveyard is, but the person who took the video had initially gone there because they apparently had been hearing some strange noises coming from the cemetery for several days. I feel like if I had heard a strange noise coming from a cemetery, I'd probably call the police, or Ed and Lorraine Warren. The last thing I would ever do would be to take it upon myself to investigate. The curious video taker is clearly braver than I, because they went to explore and definitely found more than they had bargained for. I have absolutely no idea what this thing is, with its elongated limbs and creepy posture. I'm not sure how the person taking the video was able to stand there for so long, but I feel like fight or flight really took over in this case. Was this a ghost, a demon, a zombie? Honestly, at this point, the possibilities are endless.
So this guy's near-death experience was filmed on camera. Now, I don't know if this is the only near-death experience this man has had, or if this is just one of his many adventures, but my god, by the looks of it, this guy must have 9 lives. He was off-roading, I guess, when his car started rolling backwards down a cliff, but he manages to roll out of the vehicle just in time. Take a look at this. That is absolutely insane. A second or two longer, and he would have been tumbling down the cliff with his car. Very likely would not have been found alive at the bottom. I mean, this is some action movie maneuvering right there. Anyway, I doubt his insurance will cover this mess, but at least he made it out with his life. Is that a snake in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, God, no, that's actually a snake. Thai snake rescuer near Kwai Thai posted this video to Facebook earlier this month, extracting a venomous snake from a man's boxer shorts. And no, the snake didn't slither into his underwear drawer and then hide in his boxers. This poor guy was actually wearing them at the time. Take a look at this. So the guy had woken up feeling something slithering around in his underwear. Probably started out as a pretty nice dream, to be honest, but it quickly turned into a living nightmare when he realized there was actually a venomous snake chilling right on top of his precious jewels. New fear unlocked. There are some really scary things you can wake up to. You can wake up to a fire, an intruder breaking down your door, a shadow person looming over your bed, a short clown dancing in your room, your sibling sleepwalking. They're all high up on the list of scary things to wake up to, but this is bad. I don't know if this man will ever be the same again. He's gonna go to bed with a diaper taped to his thighs the rest of his life, probably. Poor guy. Moving on from a near-death experience from a falling car and a snake in your pants to some spooky ghost footage. I told you this list was gonna be a grab bag. The video was posted to Reddit by user Blondie in the Woods. There's some backstory to it, but we'll get to that in a second. First, let's give the video a watch. Did you see that? Yeah, that was spooky. Blondie in the Woods writes, a little backstory. My husband's best friend used to live in the house in the video. He caught some crazy orb ring camera videos and always felt something was in the house. He ended up getting a divorce and sold the house. A couple months after the new owners moved in, an old neighbor got a hold of my husband's friend and told him that the new owners wanted to know if he had any paranormal activity when he lived there. They sent him this video video that they had caught in their living room, and he sent them his orb videos. Family was not at home when this video was captured. Alright, so I've said this before on the channel, I'm not 100% sold on ghosts. I've heard some interesting stories, seen a handful of semi-convincing videos, but I mean, whether you believe in ghosts or not, you gotta admit, well-executed video right here. Hoax or not, it's pretty creepy. Some ghost videos can just be absolute trash. You see nothing, but you do see something running across there. Alright, we're gonna play a little game with this next video. It was captured on a doorbell cam. We see a dude walk onto the porch. He goes to grab the door handle and then recoils in fear. Try and guess what made him jump back. Pause the video, leave your comments and guesses down below. Alright, let's take a look. So I, for one, was not expecting to see what showed up in the footage. Anyone guess it would have been a snake? This video was taken in Salisbury, North Carolina and posted to TikTok by T Barber 959799. Question, is this a common thing in North Carolina? Please let me know down in the comments. I mean, you guys got, gators there and snakes and stuff, but right on the door handle like that? First, how did the guy not see it there? I guess he was looking down and just kind of reached up. I don't know. I love this video though. It's short, but so sweet, and more going on than you think at first. You gotta watch it a few times. Obviously, there's the surprise snake, but you also have the guy's perfect reaction, that woo! Woo! That woo came from the depths of his soul, like woo! Ric Flair couldn't have done it better. Woo! I also love the cat just sitting and chilling there looking right at the snake the whole time. Like, it knows it's there. A lot of commenters said they heard the cat warning the guy. I didn't get any indication of that. I think the cat was in full-on cahoots with the snake. But let me know if you picked up a warning from the cat down in the comments. Woo! Well, at least he didn't have this snake on his porch though. Yeah, my jaw literally dropped when I saw this. That looks like what I'd imagine an ancient prehistoric boa looking like. I don't know what the context of this video is, exactly where it was filmed, but what you are looking at is a massive sized anaconda. Terrifying. Imagine stumbling on this while you're walking through the bush. Not that this thing would be great at hiding. You'd have to be blind as a bat not to spot it from a mile away. Anacondas aren't super fast on land, but they move at a good clip in the water. How fast? Up to 10 miles per hour. And to put that into perspective, the fastest human swimmer in the world is Michael Phelps. In his prime, he was swimming at a speed of about 6 miles per hour. So yeah, sure. Not as fast as a lot of other water-dwelling predators, but still, just imagine this thing plowing through the water towards you. This next video looks like the type of explosion you'd see in an action movie, but no, the cameraman didn't just happen to drive on the set of the next Michael Bay movie. This was an unplanned explosion, which means it happened. Take a look. Yeah, that is terrifying. If I saw that, I'd think an invasion was happening. This video comes out of Volgograd, Russia, and the explosion happened at a gas station. There was a fire, and as firefighters were attempting to put it out, a massive ball of flames shot into the sky. You know, as you saw. Vladislav Kopyev, the head of the region's first fire and rescue unit, said, quote, "The firefighters were literally scattered by a blast wave." Yeah, no doubt. Miraculously though, no one was killed. There were 13 people injured though, with 10 being sent to the hospital. Next up, we have some more doorbell camera footage. The more time I spend on the internet watching scary videos, the more I realize I really need to invest in one of these things. The stuff that goes on just right on people's doorsteps in the middle of the night. It's like something out of a zombie movie, and in this case, that might literally be the case. If I woke up seeing this on my front porch, I would be nailing wooden boards to my windows immediately. I don't know where this video was taken, but we see a man who's clearly on some kind of illicit substance trying to break down someone's door, and he's doing like some karate stuff where you picture your hand going right through it. He's just putting a full force into that door. By the looks of it, the guy looks like he wants to feast on some brains or something. Take a look. Yeah, it's a creepy video, but also at the same time, I mean, poor guy. Who the hell knows what's going through his head, what he's on. If anyone's seen this video before and has done some digging into it, give us some context down below, will you? All right. We can't do a scary footage video without at least one UFO, right? Surprised I haven't seen this video before today. Anyway, take a look. I don't really have any context for this one other than it being apparently shot in Colorado. It's a very mysterious piece of footage, probably why it hasn't come up when I've researched UFO footage for the channel before. It does look to be rather old though, has a bit of a VHS quality about it, but it's a cool piece of footage. Looks like two fighter jets pursuing an unidentified flying object to me. Or does it? Are they pursuing the thing, or are they escorting it? Or is it some kind of a military flight test captured on camera? Who knows? I'm gonna call this next video To the Rescue. This one is refreshing to say the least. I sifted through a lot of dark stuff to make this video, stuff that just can't be shown here on YouTube, and honestly, I just wanted to talk about something positive for a change. And now the video is less disturbing and more uplifting, but this was still a very scary situation that could have gone very differently. This piece of footage was captured in Mongolia. There was a fire in an apartment building and a man was trapped above, but a group of heroic citizens stepped in and saved the day. Take a look. So first they all team up to move that car that's below the guy's window. They're gonna need some room, course, to execute this maneuver. They managed to move the vehicle out of the way before unfolding a sheet and keeping it nice and taut to catch his fall. It's pretty great. Faith in humanity restored. And to finish things off, you knew it was coming. It's Bigfoot time. Come on. This footage was captured in Vermont by a man going by Ken's Carpentry on YouTube. He'd set out to capture some footage of a bear and her cubs using his drone. Instead, what he saw was this. So he spots something trudging through the bush and is like, what is that? You even hear him chuckle a bit, so taken aback by what he just saw. He tries to find the thing again and sees it walking out from some trees, and he manages to follow it for a while before it disappears back into the brush. Definitely looks like a big hairy ape creature to me, but like with all Bigfoot videos, could it be a hoax? Of course. I'm just still interested in these types of videos though, mainly because of all the stories you hear about Bigfoot and Sasquatch encounters. Like, there's just way too many to count. And a lot of them are very similar too. I don't know, just seems like there's something going on deep in the woods, and different way all across the world, really.
Number 10, we have a masked monkey wrench wielder. That's a tongue twister, you try it. Anyways, Mary Simonton, the YouTube user who posted the video, says she found out later that this was just a trick-or-treater, but before that she was initially really scared because she didn't know the context. And me too, like just have a look for yourself. This trick-or-treater rolls up at 7:06 p.m. on Halloween looking like, as Mary says, something out of The Purge. They are wearing a gray hoodie with a Purge-style mask and wielding a red monkey wrench. Like, while I'm sad this person didn't get the candy they were looking for, as we all should on Halloween, I don't blame Mary for steering clear. If you're at home alone and that shows up at your door, it's just better safe than sorry. Like, seriously, I legit went out trick-or-treating as a serial killer when I was 11 and I was less intimidating. That being said, I was dressed like a spoon while holding a butter knife to a mini box of corn pops, so obviously I wasn't that scary and it wasn't a cool costume, I have to admit, but I'll be better this year, I swear. Anyways, enough about me, let's move on to number 9. This one, we have a masked figure covering the camera. This video was uploaded to YouTube by user Jeff Davis, who said he was notified by his Ring doorbell that someone was at the door. This was shortly after him and his partner put their kids to bed. As you can see in the video, a masked figure comes up to the door and immediately covers the doorbell with what I believe is a sticker. After 4 seconds, the adhesive on one side wears off and suddenly peels away. But when this happens, the person is nowhere to be seen. Like, where did they go? Davis asked in the description whether viewers think it was kids up to no good or something more sinister, but what do you think? When I looked into this user, it didn't seem like he was hunting for views, so I think it's legit. It's creepy thinking that people out there are doing things like this for pranks when it's more than a little unsettling, right? That happened to me.
I don't know. But anyways, on to number 8. We have what appears to be a clown with a machete. So another creepy one, alright. So we know that every once in a while there is a creepy clown phase that happens, and one result of these phases are clowns ringing doorbells. This time it's a clown appearing at a house in Toledo, Ohio. In this video we see a person wearing dirty white coveralls with yellow rubber gloves and a clown mask, and they're holding a machete. This person saunters up and hovers around the door before ringing the doorbell about 30 seconds into the video. At this point we get a good look at the creepy mask this person is wearing. This is where I know I'd be freaking out. If I saw this, I'd freaking scream, and I'm not even afraid of clowns. Don't try and tell me that you wouldn't be just at least a little bit scared if this shows up on your doorstep in the middle of the night. Jeez. But next, something good happens, I think. It appears the clown figure realizes the doorbell has a camera and walks off, or he realizes the doorbell has a camera and decides to try another entrance, but who knows? One thing is, with number 7, we know the outcome of the scary situation that was caught on camera. This video takes place in Dallas when the homeowner was at work. 2 men come up to her door and one knocks, but they leave quickly when they see the camera in the doorbell.
Oh, there's a camera right there.
Already, this seems suspicious. The house's owner, Kay, feels like something's not sitting right too, so she stays on the line with the Ring doorbell cam. It's a good thing she does, because within minutes the two are back and attempting to kick down her door.
Hello? Cops are on their way.
The homeowner, Kay, scares them off just by saying hello. Then, as they run, she warns them that the police are on their way. A little epilogue for you: the 2 men aren't caught right away, but within a couple of weeks, with the help of Ring, the doorbell provider spreading the footage, the 2 men are arrested. Which, good thing, because I wouldn't want anyone trying to like kick down my door, because I don't know, what if the hinges are rusty? I'm afraid. Ooh. But not everyone gets as smooth an experience with Ring, the doorbell camera thing, as Kay did, the last homeowner. At number 6, we have the creepy case where the voice answering the doorbell wasn't the voice of the owner of the house. This video was uploaded by YouTube user Brian Goley back in October of 2017. When he got a Ring doorbell from Home Depot, it appeared to have been one that was returned before, you know, slightly opened in the case. And even after having the account apparently wiped, he was hearing another man's voice answering his doorbell for him.
Yo.
Who is this? Why is somebody...
Imagine forgetting your keys and ringing the doorbell to your own house only for someone else to say a little hello? Spooky, right?
Why are you answering my doorbell?
Somehow it's getting disconnected to my doorbell.
With his wife and him thoroughly creeped out that someone else was receiving and answering their alerts, they talked to Ring support again. And they found out that the MAC ID on the box and the MAC ID on the device didn't even match. So watch out with the gadgets you're getting. Eventually, Ring sent Goley a brand new unit, so it was fixed. Talking about getting something new, let's move on to number 5, another creepy dressed up character. YouTube user Katrina Vega was waiting for a UPS package that was scheduled to come at 8 p.m. at night. She gets a Ring notification that someone is at her door, which she ignores, as many of us do, because we all ignore our doors if the doorbell rings. Let's be real. Because we all know that male people run away once they drop off a package, right? That's the meme. Anyways, she also may have ignored it because she thought nothing was up. The thing is, her package wasn't there when she checked for it. So she checked her doorbell footage, and lo and behold, this creepy person in a costume was lingering at her door with a weird lollipop for a whole minute. What if she opened the door? What then? You know, what then? See, this is why I always wait for one of my roomies to answer the door, because I can't deal with this. Do you realize how short I am? My legs are... I can't run from these people. No. But anyways, what's another thing other than creepy late night encounters that you hope not to see when checking your doorbell camera? Fire. At number 4, we have a fire across the street. About 3 years ago in Clovis, California, Catherine Gahn woke up from a Ring notification. Although there was no one at her door, the motion sensor was triggered at 4 in the morning. The bell triggered because a fire was raging across the street. So across the street, all of her neighbors were sound asleep, none the wiser, and things could have taken a turn for the worse. Thank goodness Gahn raced across the street and woke up her neighbors. So their lives were saved. Next up, at number 3, we have a woman scaring the residents of this home at 2 a.m.
Mom. 30.
This woman shakes her hair at the doorbell camera and is peering into it, kind of like this, and it's not the most comforting or typical greeting at a door for sure. YouTube user Chelsea Brewer uploaded this video earlier this year, asking viewers to help her figure out what the lady is saying. Can you figure it out?
Say bells to me, please. Miss K.
I hear her begin to whisper sayings like, "Do you want to see?" and the word "mom" in kind of a haunting voice. And she walks off after, but if that happened to me, I know I wouldn't be answering the door. And honestly, I wouldn't be answering the next one either. At number 2, we have footage of a creepy kid in what appears to be a scary baby doll mask. In a video uploaded by Donnie and Leanne on YouTube, the kid, which they believe is a girl, is scary. So the kid rings the bell, backs up a step or two, and then starts to sing ominously before charging at the camera and screaming. I had to watch that clip more than once, and I wish I didn't have to. I can't handle jump scares. So like next, we're just gonna move on to the next one. Watch the video again for yourself if you really want to put yourself through that. Okay.
Starting off this countdown, we have the slithery friend. Oh, I don't like snakes. That is terrifying. Look how big it is. Oh, hell no. Oh no, hell to the no. No, no. I would never go outside ever again. Where is this? Where are they living? Thank God in Canada we don't have just like snakes roaming around to like climb on our doors. But imagine opening up the door and seeing that guy just like, "Hey, how's it going?" That's my snake impression. But I think it would be vicious and like attack. No thank you, I really don't like snakes. They give me the heebie-jeebies. Moving on to number 9, we have the masked man. And if you guys are liking this video so far, then you know the drill. Hit that thumbs up button because it really helps us out. The creepy masked man that you just saw came to the same house 3 times in 1 week. The homeowners Richard and Sandra Gerber were away on vacation when they got an alert that someone was at their front door. This man would come, ring the doorbell, and then leave. Like I said, he did this on 3 different nights. On one night, he tried to break in. Now the owners alerted the police about this man, and so they actually staked out in their backyard. They were just waiting for the man to return. And they caught him. Turns out that the scary masked man is a man named Walter Denike, and he was arrested and found guilty of attempted burglary. Coming in at number 7, we have the doorbell licker. On Saturday, January 5th, in the early hours of the morning, a doorbell cam caught a strange man licking someone's doorbell system for 3 hours. Why did he do this? Well, that's the question we all want to know. Doesn't he have better things to do? Guess not. The homeowners were confused as to who this man was and why he decided to target their house for a licking session. Well, they ended up giving the footage over to the police and they managed to catch the man. His name is Robert Arroyo, and apparently he has been accused of stealing extension cords from Christmas decorations. And so police recognized him instantly, and they too were weirded out by his behavior. In our 6th spot, we have the uninvited guest. Oh no. 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 Oh my God, it's so big. Ew, ew. Oh man, that is disgusting. That is so gross. Where is this? Is this Australia? Because I know they have huge spiders there. Again, I'm glad that we don't have big spiders where I live, because that's a big note from me. Did you see that thing? It was massive! That's disgusting. Imagine somebody, like the mailman, coming up to your door, about to ring the door, and seeing that. No, no. Oh, whew. I feel like there's a spider on me now. Gross. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the clown. So a couple of years ago in Green Bay, Wisconsin, a number of residents were terrified after seeing this strange clown walking around in the middle of the night. The man you just saw in the video was named Gags the Green Bay Clown. He was first spotted at 2 a.m. on August 1st. Then over the nights, he would stalk a number of homes. If you're scared of clowns, then surely seeing this outside your house in the middle of the night would give you a heart attack. Coming in at number 3, we have the ghost. Now, what's terrifying about this next clip is the fact that we can hear somebody at the door, but we can't see anyone. The Ring doorbell went off and started recording. So it clearly detected that something was there. But what is it? By sounds of the voice, it's probably a demon. I think it's time for that house to have an exorcism or something. If anyone can decode what that demon is talking about, then let me know. Maybe it's just cold and wants to come in and warm up. Moving on to number 2, we have the delivery. Hear the police sirens? Oh my god. It's like they're coming for him. What is that? What did he just drop off on their front porch? I don't know, but I wouldn't open that. Nuh-uh. I have no clue what that is, and I don't want to know what that is because it's probably something bad, because this looks like an evil man and I don't like him. That's terrifying. And in our number 1 spot, we have the old woman. She's not okay. She is possessed or something. I have no clue what was in her hand. She's definitely possessed by something. I don't know what's wrong with her. Her face looks evil. Like, that's an evil Karen right there, and I don't like that. See, this is why I don't want to get one of these doorbells. Like, I feel like I should, because it's like I can spy on people that come and, you know. But at the same time, it's like, do I really want to know who's standing outside my house? Not really. It's scary.
Starting us off at number 10 is the Battery Man. Slavisa Pajkic, aka Bieber Struja, aka Electric Bieber, is a man who since the age of 17 has apparently had electricity coursing through his body at all times. He can literally fry a hot dog with his bare hands. He claims he's an insulator, accumulator, conductor, and heater all in one. Using 2 metal pins, he can even make a light bulb light up, even though if any normal person touched 220 volts, they would die. Not him though, it's not even a thing for him. Just makes it look so easy. He even makes an electric circuit with him and a bunch of his students holding hands, and he helps people with their sinus and back problems, their migraines. Like, look at what his touch does to these people. Look at this clip right now.
Rada u grad I pomažem ljudima. Migrena, glavobolja, sinusi, problemi sa kičmom. Trudim se 50-50.
And if that didn't manage to convince you, he became a Guinness World Record holder back in 1981 when he touched a few thousand volts. He also heated water to 97 degrees Celsius in the record time of 1 minute and 37 seconds. And no one knows how he has this power, how the electricity entered him and never left, how he controls it, or how he hasn't died from it yet. We just have no idea. But I would love to be like a walking appliance. It would save me so much money in electricity.
In at number 9, the Paulding Light. A small light that appears in a valley outside of Paulding, Michigan. This has been a mystery that has been puzzling investigators since the 1960s.
It almost looks like a flame, man.
How it flickers?
Yeah, it looks like a flame out there.
Look, it's red on it now.
It's coming real close.
Yep, you see it? It's going red now.
Some believe it's a ghost, while others claim it could be some sort of geological activity or even some natural gases. The light appears in the same spot almost every night, and of course there are tons of myths and legends surrounding the light. Some claim it's the light of a railroad brakeman who was killed while trying to stop an oncoming train from colliding with a car stuck on the tracks. Others claim it's a grandparent looking for a lost grandchild using a lantern that needs constant relighting, which is why the light seems to come and go. In 2010, the Paulding light was featured on the show Fact or Faked Paranormal Files, who couldn't come up with a reasonable explanation for the random light.
At number 8, we have the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. On the 21st of October 1978, Australian pilot Frederick Valentich was doing a 125 nautical mile training flight. Now, the 20-year-old had no idea that that would be the last flight of his career. Known as a flying saucer enthusiast, Frederick radioed Melbourne air traffic control saying this:
Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? No known traffic. Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet.
Now, if you didn't understand what he said and it's unclear, he's asking if there's any known traffic below 5,000 feet. They respond saying no known traffic. He then claimed there was an unidentified aircraft that was following him at 4,500 feet, which clearly wasn't a plane. It was illuminated by 4 bright landing lights and seemed to be moving at quite a fast speed. He then reported that it seemed to be approaching him from the east and that maybe the pilot was pranking him. The craft started orbiting above him, and that's when Frederick started experiencing engine problems. Now have a listen to the last few things he said in this transmission before contact was lost.
It's not an aircraft, it's hovering, and it's not an aircraft.
Search parties were sent out and covered 1,000 square miles around the perimeter, yet he was never found. The last thing he says is it's not an airplane, and then contact just gets lost. Like, where did you go? Were you abducted by aliens?
At lucky number 7, Dale Kerstetter. This mystery is exactly that because no one knows the answers to anything, really. September 12th, 1987, Kerstetter started his weekend shift as a security guard at the Corning Glassworks plant in Bradford, Pennsylvania. When another security guard arrived the next morning to relieve Kerstetter of his shift, Dale was nowhere to be found. $250,000 of platinum pipe was also missing. However, Kerstetter's truck was still in the parking lot, and after the police were called to investigate, they were stumped. The keys to the truck were still in the ignition. Kerstetter, a heavy smoker, left behind a full carton of cigarettes. The only thing missing was his .22 caliber pistol. What's even more interesting is Dale's lunchbox was full, and upon reviewing security footage, about 10 minutes into Kerstetter's shift, a masked man is seen approaching the back of the plant. Kerstetter is seen walking up to him and then looked directly at the camera. The two men were never seen again. To this day, some believe Kerstetter was part of a heist, while others think he was coerced into the crime. He was looking at the camera as a signal of asking for help. Kerstetter had 6 kids and 2 grandchildren at the time of his disappearance. No one has seen or heard from him since that night, and many are still wondering what really happened to Dale Kerstetter.
Now at number 6 is the sand geysers. So everyone knows about water geysers. They're out here going to Iceland and chilling in those hot geyser baths and whatnot. Nothing new, I wish I could do that. But back in 2008, in the eastern city of Al Asa in Saudi Arabia, a sand geyser just appeared out of nowhere. The sand was coming out and reached 9 meters in vertical length, but no one was able to explain how the phenomenon was happening. Several Almaco geological teams went to the site to get to the bottom of it, but they simply couldn't. Some claim it could have been because of an earthquake tremor, since some sand volcanoes form during large earthquakes, but 11 years later they're still clueless about the real origins of the sand geyser.
Halfway through our list at number 5, the Cowboy Bandit. This one is insane because this guy somehow has been eluding the police for over 30 years. It started back in 1987 on September 19th, when a man entered a bank in Spokane, Washington and robbed them of $100,000. The man who robbed the bank was described as wearing glasses, a cowboy hat, and cowboy boots. When he pulled the gun on the teller asking to be taken to the vault, he also revealed a police scanner, making it clear he'll know if anyone calls for the police. After completing his first robbery, the Cowboy Bandit would go on to rob about a dozen banks total, even being captured on camera at some of them. Although it took a while to get the bandit on camera, while he was robbing a bank, one of the tellers set off a bill trap, which is located under some of the bills the tellers were handing over to the bandit during a robbery. This not only notified the police, but also activated the bank's cameras. Still, even though he was caught on camera, to this day, law enforcement have not been able to find the Cowboy Bandit.
At number 4 is the max headroom interruption. Now, I feel like many people have seen this signal interruption that happened back in November of 1987 already, but we're going to show it again. The signal intrusion happened at about 9 PM during the sportscast news on WGN TV and lasted about 28 seconds. The second intrusion happened during Doctor Who and that lasted about 90 seconds. It's been 30 years now and the hijackers behind the interruption are still unknown, and honestly the whole thing was just really creepy. The person in the video is wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses with this buzzing sound in the background. In the first intrusion he's just swaying from side to side, bobbing his head up and down in front of this metallic striped background. In the second one, the person actually talks, saying he's a freaking nerd. Heeing away, he starts humming and singing a song and seems like he's on some kind of high level of drugs. He goes on to say, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds, and I mean, he's not wrong. 30 years later, we're still talking about it, trying to figure out who it was.
In at number 3, Leah Rowland. At around 10:30 AM on March 20th, 1997, Leah Rowland was working as the manager of a gas station in Nebraska. The mother of 2 had just gotten promoted the day before and didn't think twice when a red Pontiac Ram pulled in to get some gas. The man in the red car walked into the gas station without shoes on and sweatpants rolled up to his knees. He waited for a mother and her daughter to leave the store and then approached the counter. Leah was instructed to hand over the money in the cash register, which she did, a total of $150. She was then told to lay on the ground. Complying with everything the robber said, Leah wasn't expecting him to shoot her 3 times, twice in the arm and once in the head, killing her instantly. The suspect then took off with the money, some soda, a pack of cigarettes, a lighter, and the gas he filled his car up with. Although there was surveillance footage of the entire crime, to this day, Leah's killer has never been found.
Now at number 2 is the Hampton Court Palace ghost. Now this grand estate was the home of Henry VIII and all his 6 wives and all their kids. And I feel like I learned about this guy in history at primary school more than I learned about anyone. It was a tie between him and both world wars, so I mean that's saying something. So the staff at the palace had the alarm go off, which meant the fire doors were open, but when they rushed to check there was nothing there. But in the footage you can see the doors opening even though no one's physically opening them, and then a man appears out of nowhere in medieval clothing and leaves through the doors.
You don't see the doors actually being pushed open by hand. Figure strides forward and slams them shut. As you can see, and close-ups have shown that it appears to be dressed in medieval clothes, similar to what Henry VIII would have worn.
Now, no one saw any person come in and out of the building, yet the footage shows otherwise, and it looks like a skinnier version of Henry VIII, to be honest. Like maybe the afterlife made him skinnier. A good diet plan, though.
Taking the top spot on our list at number 1, Bigfoot. Now you most likely already know the story here, but for those that don't, well, it's quite an interesting one. Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson filmed what some say is a real-life Bigfoot and others claim to be a hoax way back in 1967. The story goes the 2 men were searching for Bigfoot. Patterson claimed to have seen large footsteps earlier in the week and convinced Gimlin to go on a journey with him. When the 2 returned to the area where Patterson had originally found the prints, they were washed away due to rain. Still, the 2 men trekked deep into the woods on horseback. Then out of nowhere, Patterson's horse started jumping around, and then they saw it. Bigfoot on the other side of a creek. Patterson reached for his camera and started to record, but as he got closer, he tripped on some sticks. The noise got the attention of Bigfoot, who made eye contact with the men and then kept walking deeper into the woods, as you could see on the footage.
When I first saw her, she was standing upright. I thought, you know, this is unreal.
To this day, there's still a debate about whether or not the footage is real, and Gimlin doesn't seem to care to make people believe him. He knows what he saw on that day.
First up on our list today, we have the mystery of the Siberian dancing lady. Video footage of the woman first began circulating online in 2019, showing an elderly woman dancing in the streets of Siberia, dressed in traditional Siberian garb. The user who posted it said that they were confused about her behavior, but eventually a stream of comments flooded in, labeling the woman as the Siberian dancing lady and saying that if you were to look the woman in the eyes without first receiving permission, she would chase you down with a large blade in an attempt to end your life. There is a Siberian legend that tells the story of a woman who fell in love with a man from a different village. However, unfortunately, her family disapproved of the union and she was left heartbroken. It is said that when she died, her spirit could be seen roaming along the countryside, dancing and singing mournfully in the night. Those who were unlucky enough to gaze upon her shadow would be met with misfortune and death. In 2023, more video footage of a strange woman dancing in the Siberian
Siberian streets was posted online. In one, the woman notices that there is someone filming her and begins charging towards them holding a large blade. Many people also claim to have seen the woman and have theorized that she is either mentally unwell or possessed by the devil. Police have also begun to take these sightings very seriously, and incidents have even been reported on the local news stations, who have warned citizens to seek shelter after dark to avoid a run-in with the unidentified woman. Next, we have footage taken from a passenger aboard an American Airlines flight headed to Orlando from Fort Worth. The woman in the video, later identified as Tiffany Gomez, a former Microsoft employee, can be seen having what can only be described as a breakdown. She shouted at other passengers, claiming that a man near the back of the plane was not real and that the plane would not be making it to its final destination. She was removed from the aircraft and was later captured on police body camera footage inside the terminal of the airport, claiming that the man had told her he had an explosive device. She pleaded with the desk agent and police, begging them not to let the plane leave, saying that once it became airborne, it would blow up. Tiffany later posted an apology video online saying that she was sorry for causing a scene as well as for using profanity aboard the aircraft, but provided no explanation for her actions or the claims that she made in the video. While the plane was okay, many people who watched the apology video have claimed that the woman apologizing and the woman on the plane were two entirely different people, saying that they look nothing alike. Next on our list today, we have CCTV footage that shows the last known location of American-born Maura Murray, who disappeared on February 9th of 2004. 20 years later, in early February of this year, Maura's sister started a podcast in hopes of regaining traction for her sister's case and possibly putting an end to the mystery of Murray's disappearance. On the day Maura went missing, she packed her car and took to the road without telling anyone where she was headed. She was caught on video using an ATM machine around 3:40 p.m. and then continued on her way. Somewhere along the drive, the 21-year-old was involved in a single car crash and police were called to the scene by a bystander. By the time police arrived, however, just minutes later, Murray was gone. It is unclear whether or not she wandered off into the woods or grabbed a ride from a passing vehicle, but either way, she was never seen again. No one knew where she had been going or why she had decided to pack up her entire dorm room and leave nursing school to head north. While some people believe she left because of a ticket she had gotten for a previous crash or a warning she had received for using a stolen credit card number to purchase fast food, her family heavily disputes these claims, as she never received a ticket for the accident and the charges of fraud were dismissed on good behavior. Her mother and father maintain that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time and that whoever picked her up that day on the side of the road is ultimately responsible for her death. Next up, we have the strange last moments of Lars Matank, captured on CCTV at an airport in Bulgaria. You see, in the summer of 2014, Lars and 3 friends had traveled to Bulgaria and stayed at a popular beachside resort. During their time away, they relaxed, swam, exercised, and often went to clubs. Everything seemed normal until it didn't. On the last night of the men's vacation, they had gone to a local bar to watch a soccer game, and while at the bar, Lars got into a fight with a group of fans for the opposing team. The situation escalated and then eventually de-escalated, but after the game, Lars and his friends group left the bar. His friends stopped for food on the way home. Lars, claiming he wasn't hungry, waited outside. When his friends emerged from the restaurant, Lars was nowhere to be found, and it wasn't until the next morning that he reappeared. Beaten and bruised, he claimed he had been jumped by a group of guys hired by the angry soccer fans from the bar. Due to a ruptured eardrum, he was unable to make the flight home with his friends that day, and he stayed in Belgium. By the evening, however, his demeanor had almost completely changed. He was calling his mother paranoid, convinced the assailants were planning to come back and finish the job. When he was finally cleared to fly home, he made his way to the airport, but before he could get on the plane, he became spooked by a construction worker. He could be heard muttering, "I don't want to die here," before booking it out of the airport without any of his personal items. And that was the last anyone would ever see of Lars. His behavior and disappearance remain a mystery to this day, but I want to know what you guys think. Was he really being hunted down by some kind of hitman, or might the initial blow to the head have caused Lars to slip into some kind of paranoid manic episode? Next up, we have 3 incredibly strange videos captured on home security cameras that might just give you nightmares. These videos were shared to social media platform TikTok by Mandy, a mother of 2 who became incredibly
disturbed after her Ring camera alerted her to movement taking place outside of her home. In the video, you can clearly see the shadow of a person standing to the right side of the camera, but what's really creepy here is the audio. In an almost witch-like voice, the figure says, "Let me in," before it begins scratching on the door and trying to open it. After the incident, Mandy began to monitor her cameras much more closely, and to her dismay, a few nights later she saw a figure in a black hood lingering outside her shed. And a few days after that, the same figure was seen lurking around the premises of her home and standing directly under the room in which Mandy, at the time, would have been consoling her sick child. The family has contacted authorities, but there's been no update since. However, I do have goosebumps all over my body right now. Next up, we have the Erickson twins captured on police body cam footage after the officers had been called to the scene to investigate the woman's strange behavior. The Swedish sisters Ursula and Sabina had been seen acting up after exiting a public bus. They tried to board another but were denied entry. The pair made their way over to the highway and they were seen dashing in and out of traffic. When police arrived on the scene and attempted to apprehend the woman, they once again ran into the road until they were both struck down by oncoming vehicles. Ursula suffered severe injuries and Sabina was briefly unconscious but awoke soon after, attacked the officers and refused medical help, which ultimately led to her arrest. Sabina was eventually released, but her freedom didn't last long. Shortly after leaving police custody, she ended the life of Glenn Hollingshed with a large blade after the stranger had agreed to take her into his home so that she could use his phone to contact Ursula. No one knows why either of the women did what they did. There was no evidence of drugs or alcohol involved at either incident, but some have speculated that the twins might have suffered from something called shared psychosis, a rare disorder in which a delusion is shared by two or more people in a close relationship. But what do you guys think? For this next one, we're keeping things somewhat light with a video of an unknown man showing off his leg strength in the province of Shaanxi, China. In security footage captured by the city of Linfen, the man can be seen delivering a powerful kick to one of the concrete columns lining the bridge that he had been walking on. The column, attached to all of the others by a metal chain, falls into the water and then begins dragging the rest down with it. The man who delivered the blow stands back and watches before fleeing the scene. It's unknown why the man decided to kick the column down in the first place, whether or not he knew what would happen or whether or not he was arrested. However, I think we can all agree while vandalism is bad, the domino effect of the columns was pretty satisfying to watch. Next up, we have Peter Bergman, also known as the man who didn't exist. In 2009, the man, presumed to have been in his 50s or 60s, checked into a hotel in Austria under the name Peter Bergman. While at the hotel, he disposed of all his belongings in a purple plastic bag while avoiding security cameras and then went on to purchase 8 stamps from the local post office. Peter went back to the hotel where he was captured on CCTV and grabbed a taxi. The driver dropped him off at Ross Point Beach, and that was the last time the man was ever seen. His body was discovered along the shore the following day around 8 a.m. An investigation began, which led law enforcement to the discovery that Peter Bergman didn't exist. The man had used a fake name and a fake address when checking into the hotel. Not only that, but all of the labels on the man's clothes had been carefully removed so that it would be unclear where he had purchased them from, and his movements prior to the day of his disappearance could not be tracked. While police were able to determine that the man had died of cardiac arrest, they were never able to determine who he was and why he had worked so hard to keep his identity a secret. Next up, we have CCTV footage taken from a home security camera that captured the last known moments of Stephen Kocher before his disappearance without a trace on December 14th of 2009. Stephen had called his friends just 2 days earlier to inform them that he had left his home in Utah to visit Las Vegas, Nevada. However, based on the CCTV footage, his last known whereabouts was Henderson, which is about a 30-minute drive from the Las Vegas Strip without traffic. In the surveillance video, he can be seen parking his car filled with wrapped gifts for his family members on the street of a wealthy neighborhood. After he parked, he got out of his vehicle, crossed the street, and made his way down the road. He was never seen again. No one is sure why he would have parked his car in the neighborhood or what might have happened to him after he did. His cell phone signal was picked up at various locations several miles away from where he left his car, but after 2 days, the signal died and the trail was lost. And finally, to finish off our list today, we have the mysterious disappearance of Dale Kerstetter, who was last seen in a surveillance video taken from inside of the glassworks plant where Dale once worked as a security guard. On September 12th of 1987, Dale had been working the evening shift at the plant when all of a sudden an unknown masked man entered the building. Dale was last seen leading the man through the building while staring directly at the plant's security cameras, possibly in duress, before disappearing out of frame, never to be seen again. However, the masked intruder who made off with $250,000 worth of platinum pipe is seen again, wheeling a large bag out of the plant. While some believe that Dale, who had been in debt at the time, was working with the masked man, his family members maintain that he was an innocent bystander in the incident, and that it's likely the bag they saw leaving the plant in the wheelbarrow had contained Dale's body. To this day, no trace of Dale or the stolen merchandise have ever been found, and the case remains a mystery.
Starting off at number 10 are the Superhuman twins. Now, back in May of 2008, Swedish twin sisters Ursula and Sabina Eriksson were filmed repeatedly running across a busy M6 highway. They were hit by oncoming traffic multiple times, and then Ursula even went under the wheels of a large truck, yet remained completely unharmed. As the twins are being talked to by the police, one of them gets free and runs right in front of an oncoming lorry, and then the other one runs out as well and gets hit by a car. The footage freezes right before she gets hit by the lorry for graphic purposes, and then restarts as the police call the paramedics. Now, the lorry twin is in critical condition, but the other one is remarkably fine despite being in an accident that would usually kill someone. The car twin then just gets up and starts running after fighting off a policewoman, and it actually ends up taking 6 police officers to take her down. Her strength was somehow unparalleled, and no one knows how. Apparently, they both suffer from a very rare form of shared psychosis where the mental health of one influenced the other one's sanity. Like, when you watch this footage, you're like, these women are literally just running for it, just trying to get hit by these cars. Coming in at number 9 are the Clowns of Springfield. Not the Simpsons Springfield, but after watching the footage, I really wished it was in cartoon land and not real life. So back at the start of October in 2014, multiple home security cameras captured various sinister clown sightings. And it wasn't even, oh, like they were walking by and the camera saw it. Like, no, these clowns would straight up come to the house's porch and stare into the camera like this. Like, why always a creepy head tilt? It's really weird. Now, one clown stared at the camera from outside the gate for a while before coming in. Another one holding balloons came into someone's porch and stared at their camera, then picked up a decorative pumpkin and started punching it for the camera before tearing it apart and throwing it on the ground. Another one just stood in front of the camera looking creepy as hell and then lighting his face on and off. And I can't tell if it's the mask he's wearing or it's a torch he's using under his shirt. I really don't know. He then tells the camera not to tell anyone by doing this before leaving and lighting his face up one last time outside the gate. I mean, if it was part of some Halloween prank, then I totally get it, but this was 3.5 weeks before Halloween, so was it really just a prank? Or 2014, was that when the whole clown craze was a thing? Surely not. Surely it wasn't that long ago. At number 8, we have the Miami cannibal attack. Yep, you guys, can you even imagine? I can't even imagine. So this happened during Memorial Day weekend back in May of 2012. A 31-year-old Rudy Eugene had just been at Urban Beach weekend and was walking back to the mainland. Now, as he's walking, he sees 65-year-old homeless man Ronald Popo sitting on the sidewalk and then suddenly attacks him. In the footage, you can see him approaching Ronald, but then our view gets blocked by a palm frond, which is just bloody brilliant. A few minutes of attacking later, you see Eugene throwing Ronald down the sidewalk while still attacking him. He starts tearing his clothes off and eventually chewed parts of his face off, which I don't even understand. Mind you, many cyclists and cars actually pass the scene before actually stopping to see what the hell is happening. Now, 15 minutes later, a police car pulls up and fires 5 shots in an attempt to stop the attack. When the footage zooms in at the very end, you can see both men naked on the floor as paramedics take Ronald away. Now, initially, investigators assumed drugs or bath salts were behind the attack, but post-mortem autopsy results showed 0 drugs in his system, so we have no idea why this man did what he did. Who just walks down the street and is like, you know what? I feel like eating a face, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. And no! Creep. Filling at number 7 slot is TV Santa Claus. Now honestly, there's so many things I say on this channel that I'm like, wow, never thought I'd see the day I'd be saying that, and TV Santa Claus is one of them. Now on the night of August 22nd, 2018, several CCTV cameras recorded a mysterious unknown figure dubbed TV Santa Claus leaving vintage TV box sets on people's porches in Grey Oaks, Virginia. Which I mean, isn't illegal, it's just weird. They were never caught though and did the same thing this year as well. Now the footage shows a person wearing a blue jumpsuit, wearing a TV as a head and just depositing the TV sets on the porches. This year they hit 50 homes in Henrico County and police quickly collected all the sets and told residents to report it straight away if it happens to them as well. I mean, it could be a harmless prank, could be part of a bigger, more dastardly scheme, who really knows? I certainly don't. TV Santa Claus, you're not doing anything illegal, but it's weird. Stop it. Now at number 6 is The Dazed Woman. Now this was posted by YouTuber Rainy Schuler back in 2013, and in it you can see a woman walking out of an opening in the trees in the darkness. It's raining this night, it's cold, and she looks like she has no idea what she's doing, almost like she's unaware she's even there. She stops at one point, looks into the trees, and walks into them for a minute, and then re-emerges clutching her chest. She then stands for a few minutes, walks a bit here and there for 10 minutes, and that's literally it. Mind you, this house is located in the mountains, so there's no neighbors close by, there are no roads nearby either, so the real question here is, baby, what is you doing? Coming in at number 5 is The Peeping Tom. So back in January of 2016, reality TV star Daniel Yancey from the show Jersey Belle spotted a disgusting sight on her CCTV security footage. On what appears to be either her back porch or her front porch, you see a completely naked man open the door and crawl in. He has a sock on his private part and he's also wearing a Ronald Reagan mask. I mean, interesting choices. I'm not gonna slate him for lack of creativity, that's for damn sure. He looks like he's going to look into the windows but then quickly runs away after hearing a sound, afraid of being caught. Now the whole thing is a mix of creepy and funny, and like, how is this guy not cold is my question. Like, you're naked. It is cold. At number 4 is The Laughing Woman. Now this one truly perplexed me because I just don't get it. I just don't know what's going on. Now, this elevator camera footage was released in Feb of 2015, but it was actually taken in 2006, which kind of explains the slightly dated clothing. Can you imagine? I'm calling 2006 dated. That was only 13 years ago, damn it. Like, what's going on? Now either way, in the video there's this woman standing at the back of this full elevator and she just bursts out into laughter. And not even like a small giggle when you remember something funny, like no, she's hysterically laughing. Even hitting the people around her like ha ha ha. Like, okay, who are you? People get off and new ones come on and she's still laughing, and weirdly enough, no one around her ever asks what the hell she's laughing at. They just kind of let it happen near them. But the weirdest part is when she's alone in the elevator and she laughs even more hysterically and literally starts rolling off the walls. She sort of puts herself back together when other people enter the elevator, but that doesn't stop her from continuing to laugh. Now who is she? No idea. Why is she laughing? No clue. Not a damn clue. Filling our number 3 slot is The Licker. This one is just so effing weird, I don't even know what to say about it. So in January of this year, a man was caught on a family surveillance system licking their doorbell for 3 hours straight. Roberto Daniel Arroyo made his way to the house, and thankfully the parents weren't home, but the children were. The couple was soon alerted about movement outside their door, and then of course comes the sensual licking footage. He then peed in the front yard, so that was, you know, like a great nice cherry on top. Like, I don't know what level of drugs this man was on to do this, but I need me some of those. Like, I'll take wherever he's having. Roberto was found very quickly because he kept looking right into the bloody camera and then was charged with prowling and theft. I don't know what he stole really, other than the house's innocence and dignity, but sure. We'll leave it at that. Now at number 2 is The Porch Mystery. So I don't actually truly know what's going on in this one, so just bear with me. From the footage you see someone leaving right after putting a blurry object onto the ground on someone's porch. You then hear them driving away and their dog barking, but that's not even the focal point of the video. Let's just disregard that. Shouldn't even have to mention it. Why am I still talking? Now that thing, whatever it is that they leave on the porch, starts moving despite being inanimate. It then grows and starts floating up as a black entity and just hovering there, and I have no clue what it is at all. Like, is it a floating black phantom? Is it an orb? A spirit? Like, did this person just leave a bloody spirit on someone's porch? Like, how rude is that? How rude is that? And finally, at number 1 is The Girl, and this one is honestly chilling and had me quite worried when I watched it the first time. So back in August of 2018, the resident of a home in the Sunrise Ranch neighborhood in Montgomery, Texas, found footage that scared the shit out of her. Someone had rang her doorbell in the middle of the night, but ignoring it and thinking it was probably a homeless or drunk person, the woman just went back to bed. The next morning, after looking at the camera footage, she called the police straight away. In the footage, you see a disheveled, half-dressed girl that's wearing some sort of handcuff or hand restraint, and she hurriedly rings the doorbell and then runs away. Now, law enforcement couldn't find her on the missing persons list, so they started canvassing the neighborhood. The police confirmed the woman was alive after a house call was made. The call featured a man threatening to commit suicide, and when officers arrived at the scene, they found the man, Dennis Collins, already dead from a gunshot wound. Turns out the woman in the footage was Dennis's girlfriend, who was a victim of domestic violence. The girl, that we dubbed Lauren, shared that she woke up next to Dennis, who she'd been dating for 4 months at the time, to find him kneeling on her chest and stuffing clothes into her mouth. And then the events that followed led her to that doorbell. I don't know how she got free, like I don't even know what she went through, but I really do feel for her. Like that would have been a lot.
Number 10, doorbell liquor. And immediately into the weird. Here we go. I'm wasting no time today. This one's short and sweet. Not much explaining to do here. Back in 2019, a man was caught on camera approaching a home in a neighborhood in Salinas, California. He was seen through this Ring camera. Now, he doesn't say much. He just shows up and immediately he starts licking the doorbell. Not the camera, but the actual button, like the actual doorbell. He must have rang the bell thousands of times because he did this for 3 hours straight. The homeowner said in a following interview after seeing the footage, they said, and I quote, "Oh boy, that is just weird." Yeah, oh boy indeed, that's quite weird. I'm getting a doorbell camera tomorrow. Number 9, Vegas visitor. This one was quite recent. Watching the video absolutely freaks me out. This is terrifying. This happened just over a year ago in Las Vegas. This was at 8:20 p.m. It's barely nighttime, and this man shows up out of nowhere, and the doorbell cam catches him asking to come inside the house. He's asking the homeowner over and over if he can enter, and then proceeds to announce horrible things that he'll do once inside the house. This is terrifying. This guy is also humongous. He could kick this door down if he wanted to. He also announces that he has weapons on him, and then he announces that he intends to use said weapons. It's so jarring. This guy was thankfully arrested later on thanks to this doorbell camera being on. Don't answer the door to anyone. Just play it safe always. I didn't answer the door to the paper kid growing up because it's not worth it. People are so scary. And also that kid was weird. Number 8, TV head. Stepping away from the worst of the worst for a hot minute, let's shine the spotlight on some weird stuff, you know? Like for example, the guy wearing a TV on his head. Yep, that's pretty weird. That's a thing, apparently. I actually remember seeing this a few years ago. It kind of spooked me. Back in 2019, this man would appear in Virginia and he visited more than 50 residents. He would show up with the TV on as a head, and then if that wasn't already weird enough, he would leave an old TV on your doorstep. They're all old, humongous TVs. They're so annoying to move. Also, at the same time, this is so creepy. Middle of the night, this guy shows up. Many believe this man was inspired by the comic book series Saga. There's a race of, TV alien heads in that comic. So this could be a fan of Prince Robot IV. Who knows? Either way, this is so annoying. Like imagine an elderly couple waking up having to figure this out on a Sunday morning. That's so inconsiderate. Don't do this. Don't be a prankster. Get out of here. Number 7, attempted break-in. This one happened around 2 p.m. Another horrifying encounter happening in broad daylight. How is this? This is so scary. 2 men attempted to kick the front door down and break in an Oakland, California home. One man rang the bell. The person who was home at the time was wearing headphones, listening to music, so luckily they didn't hear the initial doorbell ring. The man came back again with a partner shortly after, and this time they tried ringing again, and then after getting no response, he attempted to kick the door down. Now the person who was home did hear this, and they yelled, and the attackers luckily fled the scene. This is so terrifying. This happened in the middle of the day. Just no matter what, if you don't know the person, don't answer the door, call 911. Easy, play it safe. Number 6, Matt doesn't live here. This one I need your help on, honestly. There's a backstory here and we need to find it. We need to figure this out. Back in 2016, in the middle of an August summer night, this man approaches, topless, always a great sign. And as he's slowly approaching this home, he's looking back at somebody off camera, right? He has the I'm about to ring the doorbell and run away vibe. You know what I'm saying? He's Looking back, he's getting ready, he's stretching his arms out, something's gonna happen. But instead of knocking and running, he pretends to knock, he knocks the air, and then pretends to ask somebody if Matt's home. He does it so the other person can clearly see him doing this. So I don't know if it was a dare or some sort of attempted break-in that we just can't yet decipher, but either way, it's jarring. Sound off in the comments down below. What was this guy doing? Number 5. A grim warning. This one comes from user rightmind2723. Great name. They say, we had a series of break-ins in our neighborhood when doorbell cameras first came out. So we got one because my husband often worked late and I would be home alone with the kids. Great idea. I'm starting to understand your username. Right mind indeed, my friend. Very right mind. Since they were so new, most people didn't know that it was a camera. So one night my phone pinged that there was a movement. I pulled it up and it was 2 guys talking about if they should try and go to the back of the house to break in. I was on the line with 911 so fast and the cops arrived even faster. The cops caught them both and it turns out these were the 2 men responsible for all of the other break-ins. Yeah, they didn't realize I was home. Neighbors all got cameras after this. Yeah, as they should. You should get 7% of their profits. That's like, you know what, you got some deals. 20 people buy stuff, that's, you know, you're working for them. Again, play it safe, call 911, hide. Exhibit A. Number 4, found a key. Ooh, this one comes from Reddit user ending is near here. Okay, solid name, a little more spooky than the last, but we'll like it. They say, once I got an alert that someone was at the door. My dog was also barking at the time, but I didn't hear a knock. I then heard something myself, so I checked the camera, and I saw this younger looking guy at the doorstep. He'd walked up and tried to unlock my front door with what I guess was a key he found on the ground close to my house. Luckily, he didn't get in. This happened in broad daylight with cars still in the driveway. Yeah, these types of scenarios always creep me out. People love hiding keys and like fake rocks in front of their homes. Don't do this, no way. People know about these. They will look for fake rocks. Also, they're pretty obvious most of the time. I don't know. Keep your spares very hidden. People will try anything at any time. Number 3, sleepwalker. My brother Kyle has night terrors. This man would get up in the middle of the night and just start doing dishes and whistling. It was so terrifying. I truly feel bad for sleepwalkers, okay? I get it. Not as much as Kyle, but I get it. I've seen it. This one comes from Reddit user Raging Ball of Fury. Amazing name. They say, my little brother is a sleepwalker. We'd gotten an alert and saw that he had snuck out of the house while we were still asleep. And my sister said she heard someone talking just outside of the front door. I went to look and I saw my brother sitting on the porch, apparently having a conversation with our grandfather despite being alone at the time. She says he was saying, I love you and I'm going to miss you. Nice stuff like that. My dad got him back inside the house without waking him up, which is also so impressive, side comment, and nobody gave it much thought until a couple hours later when my uncle called telling us my grandfather had passed away while he was asleep. My little brother says he doesn't remember any of this, but we got it all on video. We can't hear what he's saying too clearly, but he was definitely talking to somebody, and he sure as heck said, I'm going to miss you, at least twice. That's touching. I had to throw in a nicer one before we, you know, get yucky again. Number 2. Not cops. Immediately back into the terrifying again. This is a hard one. If I saw this outside my front door, I would have probably opened the door. I don't know, this is confusing. This is why doorbell cameras with audio are vital, okay? This comes from an anonymous source. They say, I have a camera doorbell. The creepiest thing I ever saw was the night I had 2 cops come to my door. They stood outside the door talking to each other about if I was home or not and who would have me first or try and break in first. I was at home at the time and my dog alerted me by whining at the door. So I checked the DV cam, saw them, listened to them talking for about 10 seconds before I myself called the real 911. The operator told me they didn't have any cops in my area at the time and to stay away from the door and to put at least one more locked door between me and them and to stay on the line and to be quiet until the real cops could get there. This is how you do it, okay. I live around the block from a fire department, so it was less than 2 minutes when a fire truck pulled up, then these 2 fake cops ran away. God, that's so scary. The amount of videos I've seen online where people pretend to be police officers, it's terrifying. And also so cringe. Just like a dude trying to pull you over, he's like grabbing a non-existent vest. I'm like, what are you doing? Get a job. Unless you call them, pretend like you aren't home. Just hide, or unless you're a criminal, then for sure come out. It's over, Buster, alright? You're going to jail. And finally, number 1. Not hired help. This one is very controversial in the comments. I need to know where you all stand on this matter, because I myself am on the fence. I wanted to end this video off on a little question mark. This footage is from 2017, and the description of the video says, a suspicious man walks to my door and has no clear answers to my questions and then leaves. Thanks to Ring Doorbell for saving the day yet again. Okay, quite the description, so I watched it, I read the comments, let's talk shop. Half of the comments here are upset at the user. They're defending this man off the bat, saying clearly it sounds like he was part of the crew that had laid the tile outside of the homeowner's door previous, right? It must have been a long time ago, and if you're not the original homeowner, he's mixing you up with somebody else. Somebody else comments how the guy noticed a package on the ground, but he didn't steal it. So he's not a thief, right? Others think he's trying to get more work done by coming back to the same location, right? My take on this, again, if you don't know who's at your door, you don't have to get it. You're an adult. That's it. Enough said. That's your home. You can do whatever you want. Just pretend like you're taking a shit. That's it. Sorry, I missed the door. This person in the recording was talking to the man, and they told him that they weren't home for another 20 minutes because they were in a meeting. They were a little bit too polite in a sense, even if it was okay to be polite to someone. You know what I mean? Never tell anybody you're home. Stay safe. Okay? That's it. Stay safe. That's how I'm gonna end this.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have a cautionary tale. We are starting off spooky today with this one. This video serves as a reminder to always be aware of your surroundings. This video shows a woman and her son coming home, and it appears to be dark outside. Nothing is out of the ordinary. They're just getting inside and talking about their evening routine, that sort of thing. The danger only comes once the door is closed and we see a man quickly approach the door that they just went through. The guy tries to open the door, but thankfully they had already locked it and he wasn't able to. The woman sees the man either through the door or on the doorbell camera, and she begins telling him to get out of there. He clearly was watching them and waiting for them to enter, hoping that they wouldn't have locked the door so quickly. Like I mentioned before, it's just a great reminder to always watch your surroundings. You unfortunately never know.
Number 9, the bare necessities. The first of the many bear clips coming in this list. Here we go. Now, it's one thing for a person to try and enter your home out of the blue. That's pretty jarring. But when an animal does it, it can be a lot harder to handle. Like say, I don't know, a bear, for example. This doorbell recording is, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty badass. It's not even a year old. You've probably seen it, hopefully not. It's straight out of Daytona Beach, Florida. A man was chilling on his porch one evening with his puppies, and a bear, I guess, saw the puppies and then just decided to approach. Not in a calm demeanor. After growling and pushing the bear back, the man quickly used a bench to block the bear from coming back again. Yeah, good thing you had that bench, that giant bench just handy. That's crazy. Who has a bench? Must be nice.
In our number 8 spot today, we have a strange moment. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have talked about this video on the channel before, and I'm bringing it back for this one because this remains one of the strangest things I've ever seen, and we see a lot of weird stuff here on Most Amazing Top 10. Why don't you actually leave us a comment down below on what the strangest thing you can remember seeing on this channel is. I'm sure there's some of you out there who have some pretty good ones. This doorbell footage shows a stranger approaching the door, and instead of knocking or attempting to rob them or threatening them, he instead just begins licking their doorbell. There is no amount of doorbell licking that is an appropriate amount, but I have to say this guy really overdoes it. Like, he is absolutely going to town on their doorbell. So much so, they probably had to get a new one, because at what point do you just let that slide? Would you ever feel comfortable touching that doorbell again? Letting your guests touch it, knowing what it went through? I just simply couldn't. I don't want that weighing on my shoulders. Anyway, this video is definitely one I'd call concerning.
Number 7. Parkour. If you're not thinking about getting a doorbell camera at this point, well, perhaps this next clip might do the trick. Let's see. Now, this is the middle of the night. This guy is trying to climb onto the roof, it seems. Maybe a window was open. He was trying to Romeo and Juliet situation. I don't really know. Who knows? But it doesn't seem like he knew there was a camera there, which is the most alarming part. Imagine checking the footage the next morning and it's just a stranger bouldering your front door. That's probably pretty alarming. It's just his crotch right there for about 2 minutes. It's not very healthy for the soul.
In our number 6 spot today, we have bad intentions. This video is taken from a Ring doorbell camera, and it captures something very real and terrifying. This video shows 2 robbers going up to the house and knocking on the door, hoping for the family inside to open the door. Apparently, the one who knocks on the door was even saying the name of one of the family members, so it's likely that they somehow knew each other. Luckily, the family obviously checked the camera before heading to the door and saw this because they were actually home at the time and no one answered. The robbers didn't even try to break in, but were obviously waiting for someone to open the door, which feels really sinister.
Number 5. Busted. Welcome to the future. This is why you don't try and steal a bike in 2022. Or 2021 if you can go back in time. If you're a time traveler, don't do it then either. You're gonna get caught, and you're gonna get caught in 4K.
Can I help you with something? Can you please put that back?
I didn't take anything. I just looked at it. My bad. I took a piss, and then I saw it was a bike. I just looked at the bike. Sorry.
Imagine getting caught and having a conversation in real time with the homeowner. How embarrassing is that? Backpack Brandon over here decided to hop into a stranger's backyard, urinate, and as if that wasn't already, enough red flags, Backpack Brandon decides to take a peek under this tarp at an expensive motorcycle. Yeah, it's not looking very good. Not looking very nice in your case there, my friend. That's when the owner luckily hops onto the hot mic inside the house and they have a real life conversation right there.
My bad.
Gotta leave the house. The police are on the way.
Get cameras, because you never know. Somebody's curious bladder might just roll up onto your back or front yard.
In our number 4 spot today, we have doorbell footage. This next footage comes from a doorbell camera and it shows the terrifying moment a stranger begins trying to break into a woman's home. She starts off by kind of backing up and just throwing her body into a window until it breaks. The stranger wasn't in any immediate danger, she was fine, but it does appear as though she may be a little bit confused about her whereabouts, which is of course a huge problem and is for sure kind of sad. The woman whose home it is rightfully pretty freaked out and concerned about what is happening. I mean, I mentioned how the stranger trying to break in is confused, so you can imagine how confused the lady, who was probably just trying to sleep, was. Eventually, a police officer shows up and speaks to the woman who claims that her friend is in the house. Obviously, this isn't the case, but this is why I believe she may have been confused as to where exactly she was. In the end, everyone left the situation safely, but the tensions were definitely high.
Number 3, Balloon Kid. It's one thing to catch a bear or a person sniffing and or licking your front door, but sometimes you catch bizarre once-in-a-lifetime incidents, like this one, for example. What a graceful landing, first of all, and also, where did this come from? Who does this? What, is this like a neighborhood common occurrence? Hot air balloons are terrifying. Yeah, here, hop in this wicker basket and we'll see what happens. We'll see where you end up. Maybe someone's backyard, I don't know. How do you even steer these things? We'll fill it with hot breath and you'll sail around the world. So romantic. Have you ever rode in a hot air balloon? Is it romantic or is it terrifying? Comment down below because, I don't know, we're both afraid of heights. A hot air balloon. Imagine a hot air balloon date. That would be our collective demise. No way.
In our number 2 spot today, we have the nosy neighbor. This doorbell video, or really series of videos, shows a nosy neighbor trying their hardest to destroy the camera that their neighbor has set up. I'm not sure why they feel so strongly about these cameras, but clearly he does, because he will not let them rest. He tries his hands, a screwdriver, he tries a hammer for the camera in the back. Clearly this guy doesn't want the camera around, but I have to ask the question as to why. Why is he so worried about these cameras on his neighbor's property? Seems a little suspicious to me.
And finally, number 1, can't bear it. All right, we're gonna finish with another bear clip. Actually 2, we're gonna do a 2-for-1 because it's Christmas. Well, at least it's Christmas in this recording, in this doorbell recording. Here we go. 2018 in Florida. It's the holiday season and this black bear is in no festive mood, my friends. Look at this little Grinch right here. First, he knocks over the lovely decor, and then just to wake everybody up, he politely boops the doorbell with his nice damp little nose. Oh, they're so cute. I wanna pet it, but I don't wanna lose my arm, so never pet a black bear. Deal. There's the link, we'll put it in somewhere. If you're wondering how you can avoid such an encounter, put up a cross. Yeah, apparently crosses hanging outside of your home compels bears from trashing your front doorstep. Yeah, this one here is from Alaska. This bear stands up, which first of all, so jarring, stands up, looks at the cross, and then decides, I'm gonna head out. I'm not a religious man myself, but it seems a few black bears are, so there you go, the more you know.